Our top pickups of the week. Who is your first player, Ryan?
Tyler Anderson of the Los Angeles Angels. Nice start for him. 0 earned runs, 0.79 whip in his first 2 starts. Also looked great this spring at a 20-3 strikeout to walk rate and 16 2/3 innings. He's not going to wow you with velocity. However, among left-handed starters, he's first in baseball in induced vertical break. So that fastball does play up a little bit for as little velocity as it might have. 44.7% whiff rate with his changeup. Ranks in the 97th percentile in chase rate, 88th percentile in hard hit rate. Not a super high upside play, but I am willing to put him on my bench. Definitely start him in more favorable matchups, and it's not going to cost much to get him. A decent high floor guy there.
My top guy here, MacKenzie Gore, was once a very top prospect, kind of lost some of that prospect shine. He just had a very strong start against Oakland. 11 strikeouts, 1 walk, just 4 hits in 5 scoreless innings. He's now sitting on a 2.81 ERA for the season. MacKenzie Gore, still 25 years old, with a good amount of prospect pedigree and the not too distant past. This maybe being the year where he starts putting it together, 8 to 10% at least on MacKenzie Gore.
My next guy is Yariel Rodriguez, the Blue Jays. He made his major league debut against the Rockies and looked strong. 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts in 3 2/3 innings. He picked up 12 whiffs on his 68 pitches. Big question with Yariel Rodriguez's role. He can't be used in a traditional starter role all season. If something happens to Jorge Romano, potentially he could be a closer option, but I am very interested in the arm. Throwing a couple bucks his way could pay off.
David Robertson, he is the potential next man up in Texas behind Jose Leclerc after a very poor start to the season. It's not guaranteed to be Robertson who's the next man up, but Robertson is the most likely guy. And Robertson's role each of the last 3 or 4 years has been signing with someone as a setup man and then taking the closer job from a guy who's not good enough to have it. That's what he does. Last year, he was striking out 29% of opposing batters, and he's going to be doing it potentially for the defending champions. You may have to go into the double digits to get him, which is a lot given that there's no guarantee it's him, but you got to bid high on closers, and I think he's a closer. I would go over 10% here.
Steven Matz of the Cardinals. In 10 starts, a 1.84 ERA, 1.01 whip. Home runs have often been a problem for Steven Matz, but over that stretch, he's only given up 3. It's a little nerve-wracking rostering Steven Matz, given, just how injury-prone he can be and how up and down he can be, but like what I'm seeing from Steven Matz so far, you throw a couple bucks at him, he could pay off.
I'm going to go with Nelson Velazquez. He is someone who hits the ball very hard and strikes out too much. Strikeout rate 34%, but still hitting the ball very hard. Already has a pair of home runs and is slugging .535. He is playing every day. He's batting 5th or 6th, which is good enough for me on a Royals team, which has a little bit better of a lineup than we thought. I'll go about 3 on him because there is some risk.
You're going to have to go higher for this guy. Colton Cowser of the Orioles has arrived. First 2 major league home runs Thursday against the Red Sox. Hit another home run Friday against the Brewers. 13 for 27. It's also got 6 doubles, 12 runs in 12 games. 6 straight starts against right-handed pitching. 5 of those coming in left field at the expense of Austin Hayes. Expected WOBA, expected batting average, expected slug, average exit velocity, barrel rate, hard hit rate, chase rate, all in the 92nd percentile or higher so far for Colton Cowser. This is going to be the last chance you're going to have to roster him. Definitely going to go 10, 12%.
My next guy, Brandon Marsh, has had enough games against lefties. He's more than just a strict platoon man. He is striking out far too much. 37% strikeout rate is not good, but he's shown very good power. 4 home runs already for Brandon Marsh. Also has a steal. I don't think he's a 5-category player. He's a 4-category guy. He's a mostly everyday guy. That's good enough for me. At least 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 for Brandon Marsh.
Brett Baty of the Mets. 327, 365, 408 in his first 13 games. He hasn't hit lower than 5th over the last 9 games. He started all but 1 game this season. Potentially an everyday player. Brett Baty, still very young, has a chance to be a post-type sleeper. He's worthy of 8, 10%.
Michael Busch. Busch was someone I wasn't really sure I was in on during draft season because it wasn't clear what kind of role he was going to be able to carve out in Chicago. It wasn't clear how good he would be. He was someone who was stuck in the minors through his age 25 season, but so far it's been Michael Busch in every game but one starting at first base. It might still be the case that he's basically on the strong side of a platoon, but even if that's the case, really strong start to the year, hitting the ball very hard, a 20% barrel rate, 3 homers, strikeout rate of 25%. You can live with that if he's hitting the ball hard. I'm now convinced enough by Michael Busch that he is the Cubs first baseman that's at least a 3 to 5% bid.